You guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I am sitting down on the rainiest, dreariest spring day to talk to you guys about having a truly restful summer as a homeschooling mom. So your brain might not be on summer break. It might not even be past winter yet, but I thought it would be good for me to kind of share this with you guys a little bit ahead of time before we actually arrive at summer. So that way you can have some things to think about if you are really desiring a restful break as a homeschooling mom, or even not as a homeschooling mom, if you're just desiring a little bit of rest. I wanted to sit down and share with you guys kind of the things that I've identified to be very rejuvenating for me as a homeschooling mom. And I know not everybody homeschools on the same schedule and does things the same exact way. So, take this wisdom and advice and just my experience and apply it as needed. But for us, we have always taken a longer summer break than any other break throughout the school year. Even though we homeschool year round, we don't follow the public school calendar, we have always just found it necessary for us to take a longer break in the summertime. And when I say a break, I'm talking about a break from the day-to-day bookwork of homeschooling. Of course, we are still learning, we are traveling, we are exploring, we are getting out into nature, we are having different experiences, learning about different places we visit, and honestly, resting, enjoying the sunshine. Like, all these things are a part of homeschooling as a whole, but I'm talking about taking time off of the day-to-day math lessons, the day-to-day history lessons. It's really a time where we take a longer pause. I've always done it over the summer months because that's when RV travel is mostly done, and I've always done it over the summer months because my kids' friends in the neighborhood and things like that are also off of school, as well as when my kids, my older two, were doing club sports. There was a lot going on for that during the summer. So we've just always taken our longest break of the homeschooling year in the summertime. And it just feels natural and it feels right for us. And so I don't really fight against it. If I ever felt like I wanted to take 6 weeks off in the fall or something like that, I would do it, but I've just never had that desire or that need. So summer for us is like our longest break of the year. Throughout the homeschool year, we will take 2 weeks, 3 weeks even off during the year, but summer is the longest break. Now, I've done everything from taking only about a month off, so about 4 weeks, to taking, I think when we moved into this home that we're in, we finished our school year in May, and then we moved. And I had a lot of projects and things that I wanted to get done, and I just did not feel rested and ready to pour out. So I think that year we took about 12 weeks off. So I've done between 4 weeks and 12 weeks. And for me personally, the sweet spot is somewhere between there. It's generally for me about 6 to 8 weeks. 4 isn't quite enough time for me to do all the things that I like to do in the summer break, which I'm going to get into, and also rejuvenate myself. And then 12 is a little long. I mean, I might enjoy 12 weeks, but I find that that's a little bit long for my kids. And so our sweet spot of a break is somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks. And that's just a good break. So how does one prepare to have an actually rejuvenating summer break? Well, I think this is like one of those double-edged swords where if you put so much pressure on summer to be like, I am going to rest, I am going to do this, I am going to do that, I am going to do this, all those things, you can just feel the joy and the relaxation of summer being sucked right out of it. And that can happen even with good, pure intentions of wanting to rest and wanting to reflect. But all that pressure that we put on ourselves to do these different things can suck the joy and the rest right out of the summer break. So I think the first thing to do is to not put too much pressure and not put too many expectations on the summer as a whole, because you will probably end up feeling like it didn't quite live up to your expectations. I speak from experience when I say this, but the saying that expectations are the root of all disappointment is so true. It's so true for me that if I go into summer and I go into it thinking I am going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to rest and I'm going to read a few books and I'm going to do all those things, then anything that happens, whether it's a big deal or a small deal or just anything that derails me from that, leaves me feeling like I didn't get the rest that I wanted and needed. So I think not putting too many expectations on summer is wise. So that way it is a more relaxed feeling, because there's not all of this expectation that you're going into it with. Sometimes I think we hope for these mountaintop experiences, like we wake up one day and we're like, and we feel ready to start homeschooling all of a sudden again. That has never happened for me, you guys. Can I be honest here? Every single homeschool year, no matter how prepared I am, which I'm always very prepared, and we're going to talk about the practical preparations here in a minute, but no matter how prepared I am, no matter how excited I am about our materials and to get back into the rhythm and routine, because I always am very excited about that, every single summer, I'm always a little nervous. I'm always a little like, oh, I don't know if I want to start yet. I always feel that way. And I've talked to my friends about this who also homeschool, and I think part of it is the feeling of knowing that the free flow of the day is about to go away. And so you're going to be like tied down more, which for me, I do enjoy, like, what do I want to do today? Like that feeling. So I think that that's part of it. And then also I think just knowing the work that's ahead, right? The longer we do this homeschooling thing, the more we know what it takes from us to do it well. And so when we start back to a new year, I always have a feeling of like, ooh, I don't want to start yet. But that doesn't mean that you're not rested and ready to start. That just means that you might know the cost, and the cost is always worthy. But there is a little bit of that, like, ooh, I don't feel ready. And then you just have to push through it and you have to start. So anyway, that's a little bit of like how I think we can approach summer. It's not going to be like this magical time of just like no one needing you for anything as moms. That's not realistic, and it's honestly not what we want. That day will come in our lives, but that is not now. And so desiring what is not meant for now will only leave us feeling dissatisfied. So I think we need to have the right attitude. I think we need to have the right expectations on summer break. So now let's get into some of the practical applications. So for me to truly have a restful summer, and I speak for myself and myself alone, there's a few things that I've identified that really help me. One of those things is travel. I thrive with experiences with my family. That is like my number one way of connecting to my people, is doing things with them and seeing new things with them and having new memories. They just fill up my heart to the absolute brim. So for me, that is important. And it's like, you know, there's a very fine line between being like having the wrong mindset of I'm mom now and now I'm in teacher mode. I'm a very firm believer that those things coexist together. I am their mom and I am their teacher. That is the calling of motherhood, right? So there's not like these different roles that I step into. I've been asked through the years, how do you get your kids to respect you as a teacher and not just mom? And I always really am puzzled by that question because it just doesn't make any sense to me. But with that said, there is something relieving about stepping out of that task of teaching, math and teaching science and just stepping into experiences and nature and conversation, right? All of that is always a part of homeschooling, but when you take away some of that necessary subject matter, in my opinion again, and you just focus over here, it's almost like, oh, okay, we can just enjoy, there's not as much pressure, if that is the right word, which it might not be, but it might be, because I, of course, am someone, if you watch my channel, you know this, I am not someone who believes that we shouldn't have any structure and rigor to our academics. So when I get to set that aside and I just get to go on hikes and I just get to talk to my kids and I don't have to think about setting the school table the night before and all that, there is a sense of relief with that. So for me, one of the things that I need to do in the summertime is travel and enjoy making memories with my kids. Another thing that I find to be very rejuvenating for the summer is not setting an alarm clock. Now, I won't make it through the whole summer without not setting an alarm at least once or twice. I mean, sometimes when we're traveling, we set an alarm because we want to see a sunrise or something like that. But the day-to-day setting of an alarm clock, when I don't have to do that, there is a freeing sense, and it is very enjoyable. And it's enjoyable because it's not something I do all the time, right? A lot of this enjoyment comes because it's a change. If we were living in a way that wasn't somewhat disciplined, I don't know that there would be as much joy around the change of a season into summer. And I don't know that I would experience restfulness in the same way if my whole life was just kind of like, la-di-da, I don't set an alarm. I just cannot think that way. So that is very rejuvenating to me. Another thing that I really like to do to rejuvenate myself is some things that I enjoy that I don't necessarily have time for during the school year, or it's not the right season. So some of those things are working out at my optimal time during the day. And that's a very simple thing, but it is a big change from waking up at 5:30 and exercising to being able to work out at 9 or 10 in the morning. That's very nice. So I do that. I allow myself that treat. I also do try to meet up with friends for coffee or lunch periodically throughout the summer, especially those friends whose kids are not homeschooled, because trying to connect schedules with other people who don't live in the same way is very difficult. I find that to be very enjoyable. And honestly, you guys, just sitting in the sun. I love sitting in the sun. I love going to the pool. And so having a day where we just load up the bag and I bring a book and we sit at the pool and we have some snacks and I get a tan, and the kids, now some of them tan by me. They used to swim all day, but here we are doing different things these days. So either way, it's very rejuvenating. And so I just try to do things that I enjoy doing. And I find that to be very restful for me. I also take the summer to do any larger projects that I've been wanting to do. Some years I've got a list, and some years I don't have too much. Last year was a summer where we didn't really do too much. This year, I'm feeling like we're going to be tackling a few projects, just cleaning things out, reorganizing. There's projects, who doesn't have house projects that they've wanted to do? So there's a few things that I would like to get done. And so anything that's going to cause our home disarray, I really try not to do during the school year unless there was a flood or something and it had to happen. But moving furniture out and just chaos doesn't allow me to thrive in the homeschool year. So doing those things in the summer is very rejuvenating to me because I love organization and I love cleaning things out, and it lets my home feel peaceful, and then my mind is peaceful because my home is peaceful, and when my mind is peaceful, then my heart is peaceful, and then everything just goes so much better. So those are some of the things that I do to rejuvenate myself in the summer. They're very simple, and I usually will not put too much pressure on myself to read something, but I do always find myself reading something that, you know, reinvigorates my heart toward educating and just reminds me of why I've chosen this and why we've been doing this for so long. So those are kind of my things that I do in the summer to help me rejuvenate in a practical sense. Now, on the flip side of that, there is a lot to be done for a new homeschooling year. And I am someone who has to be prepared for life, and my children would not accept anything less from me anymore. They know what mom does, and it's like, it's necessary. So a few years ago, I created a free printable for a summer preparation checklist. And you guys can download it for free. I'll link it down below so that you can see what I do to prepare for a homeschool year. You might not need to do any of these things, but these are things that I do so that we start our school year on the right foot. Everything is where it should be. Everything has been attended to. Like, it just makes me feel very prepared and ready to pour out for a new homeschool year. But it does take some time. So what I like to do is I like to basically get as much done as I can right away, so that way I can take a total break from all things homeschool for a while. So you will not find me doing all of this like the week before we start. No, I try to power through the list like within the first week of finishing the school year. So other than like school supply shopping, I do like to wait to get closer to the new year for that, to get my kids excited and things. But as far as cleaning things out, ordering curriculum, emptying desks, all that good stuff, I do like to tackle that right away. And so that way I am able to just completely check out of homeschool mode for a bit. You might find that to work on one thing a week might be better for you, but for me, that's what I do because I like to just have a total mental reprieve from all of the mental energy that homeschooling requires. It does require a lot of mental energy and focus throughout the entire year. And so I don't think there's anything wrong or any reason to feel guilty saying, I kind of want to break from thinking about homeschooling. Like, I just don't want to think about it. I mean, I'm always thinking about it because I'm always talking about it, but really in my own life, I do try to kind of, all right, let's take a break from that. And mentally it's like, okay, the room is empty, the curriculum's ordered. All I need to do is get the supplies like a week or two before we start and show everybody their logins and familiarize them with their curriculums. And then we're good to go because I've already cleaned everything out. We've thrown everything away. We've recycled all the things. We've inventoried supplies, like all that stuff I like to do right away. So that is a little bit of what I focus on, as well as the practical side of preparing so that I can have a truly restful summer. I am praying for a restful summer this year, you guys. My mom heart and my mom brain has been through a lot this year. My kids are just growing and changing so much. And this year has just felt very big, and not bad, but very big in a lot of ways, and a lot of change and a lot of transition on the horizon, and a lot of firsts and lasts being thought about, and all of that really wears on me. So I need a rest. And I am looking forward to a rest. And so I hope that this video encourages you to contemplate what a restful summer would be for you. And I hope you are able to enjoy that as well this summer. So let me know if you guys have any questions down below. Let me know if there's anything you want more information on. The free summer prep checklist is just a way for me to say thank you guys for supporting my channel. I made it for myself, and turns out like thousands of you guys used it last year, and that was really fun to see. So if you end up downloading it and you use it, tag me so I can see you getting ready. It's always really sweet to see those videos or those pictures of you guys starting to work on your checklist. But download it, print it off, so that way somebody else has done the thought work for you and you can just go through it and do the things you need to do. And then that way, that will be one less thing you need to worry about this summer. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. It's a free way to support my channel, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.
I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it. Don't you need it too? 'Cause I got you, and you got me too.